Okay, so in some of our previous videos, we've kind of created some background variables like the income 6 variable, if you remember that, or yours may be called income 5. And if you've created some sort of categorical variable and you want to maybe actually see it in the data set, you can do that by actually typing in the data frame name, like big combined data set, $, whatever you want to call it. So I've got that one called income 6. I'll just call it, Inc 6. And then what does that equal to? Well, I'm going to say it equals to, I have a variable called income 6. That was what that thing was created. Now right now, I've got this set from view 29 to column 78. So when I do this, it will have created Inc 6 for this data frame and permanently put it in there. Alright, so if I wanted to know these things from 29 to 78, maybe what they're associated with, I can also maybe look at something like my original numbers. So if I were to scroll over, not original numbers, but original names, whether it be FIPS code or IHME location, I can also recreate those with a slightly different name. So I can just call it, location name, and that will equal the IHME underscore location. So it creates that. And if I want to put the FIPS code there, I can just give it its own name, like instead of location name, FIPS2, and I'll just say it's FIPS. And the reason why I'm doing this is because in the event that you wanted to, if you had stuff on this second page of columns, so now we're at 31 to 80, you've got the location name and the FIPS name for those various counties in the United States. And for whatever reason, the default setting on columns, once you've gone beyond the starting column of 1, so we're at 31 to 80, it's going to default set to the sort initially being based upon like the alphabetical order of the sort of the first variable or first number in your data set. So it's based off of this FIPS code initially going into this. RStudio's got some flaws or some problems. It doesn't do well if I were to try to take something like a variable like free or reduced lunch and try to sort it right now. I can try to sort it, but you can see that this isn't a pure sort. It's not even, it's wrong. It just doesn't work. The sort here it's still, it's based upon maybe the when we did the sort on any of these, it's based upon these FIPS codes or something. However, when you start off with columns 1 to 50, so if you have a smaller data set, you can sort by any of these things. So I can sort by infant mortality rate, for example, and it legitimately, and here are the lowest counties in the United States, these counties in California. They have the lowest infant mortality rates. And then if you were to scroll down, we got the non-app or the missing data showing up, but eventually we'll get to the ones that have reportable information, and these will be the highest, reported ones in the nation. So it's obvious that there's a lot of missing data for infant mortality rate in the United States. So here we are, I'm just scrolling, I don't know where this is where it's gonna land, but you get the idea. So I mean, some of these have infant mortality rates of like 10. I don't know what the 10 per is, if it's 10 per 100,000 or what, but somewhere in this range. There we go. These are where the highest ones that are reported and known in the United States exist. So the highest is in these counties in the United States. So anyways, you know, that sort function works pretty well when the column starts off at 1 to 50. But if you're trying to sort something that shows up in columns 31 to 80, it's going to be a disaster. Try to sort the homicide rate, it just doesn't work. It doesn't affect your data set to cause any problems with regards to your analysis. So for now, you know, with RStudio, if you think you're going to need to sort something, you're going to want to have it in your first 50 columns. If you need to shrink your data set, you can always create a new data set and save it, and end up then just starting to drop some of these. So say I want to drop, you know, this Inc6 variable. So I want to make that go away. How do I do that? Well, I type in my data frame, which is thing's big combined 1997-2019 data set. That's the long name for it, but that's the name of it. $, and then what's the variable name? Inc6. And I want it to go away. How do I make it go away? Null. That word null means it's gone. So now this will go from 80 to probably 79, I guess, maybe. Yep, it's 79. And Inc6 is gone. So easy enough. So if you want to chop out a bunch of data, you could do it to get things into the first 50 columns. They'll probably have this fixed in a few years. I mean, this has been an open issue with this version of RStudio for a little while. So it's nice to be able to sometimes match information up with those respective counties. So we will explore this and use this more here in the near future. So just a little information. All right. See you.